Welcome back. So, for our international news today, we are actually going to talk about the visa nightmare. Nigerians face denials and cancellations to USA. So, I'm looking at a report here on Black Enterprise. It said Nigeria faces uptick in denied entry to US after unexplained visa cancellations. This unexplained visa cancellation is the latest update in the brewing immigration issues between Nigeria and the United States. Many Nigerians with valid US visas are suddenly facing denied entry into America. However, the news of this visa cancellations has remained relatively under the radar. According to the Business Insider Africa, Nigerian citizens have faced refusals at the border without any prior warning that their visas are at risk. Many Nigerians whose work ranges from business to entertainment, as well as those with family in the States, have had their visas pulled with no explanation. According to reports, the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria was able to annul these documents based on unspecified new information, a move authorized under Title 22 CFR Section 41-122. The growing number of unexplained cancellations has already caught the attention of numerous visa holders. One traveler, Olufemi Shoneye, former Chief Corporate Communications Officer of Nigeria's National Oil Company, the NNPC Limited, detailed the unexpected ordeal many encountered on their way to America. Shoneye emphasized the humiliation felt when visa holders saw a typically ordinary process become a frightening realization. He also noted immigration authorities detained some before returning to Nigeria, and I quote, each had to abruptly cancel engagements, refund tickets, and explain to partners abroad why they could no longer show up. In some cases, the humiliation has been unbearable. Travelers discovering at the airport, sometimes even at boarding gates, that their visas had been quietly invalidated. He shared to the cable, as reported by BI Africa. However, options to resolve the invalid visas remain limited, with no formal appeal process available. Nigerian travelers can only reappeal, a time-consuming and costly endeavor that may deter many from trying. This uptick in visa revocations severely impacts African students studying in the United States, many of whom have been encouraged to limit travel as this uncertainty wages on. The news comes as the U.S. has already placed visa limits on African travelers, citing security and immigration concerns. Under Trump's new foreign travel policies, Nigerians seeking to enter the U.S. face restrictions to 3 months, single entry visas, an update previously covered on Black Enterprise. These visa cancellations could also jeopardize Nigerian businessmen's prospects and ventures in the global market, as well as those who have already put down professional and personal roots in America, especially since these entry refusals remain unrecognized by U.S. officials. Disgruntled Nigerian travelers feel subjected to targeted policing, furthering tensions between the two countries. And I quote, for many, this is not just about stamps on a passport, continued Shoneye. These visas are lifelines for education, family reunions, medical treatment, and critical business. To have them snatched away without explanation is to leave lives suspended in confusion and despair. In the meantime, Nigerian travelers and international students remain cautious about their international travel as they navigate these regulations under Trump. What says you, sir?
Well, thank you. The report is comprehensive enough, and it explains itself. And the source being quoted there is one of our media partners, and so that in itself validates the authenticity of this situation to us at SharpEdgeNewsTV.com. But let me say that yes, whoever is the architect of this regime of visa policy, the discriminatory as it is, because now we don't need any further proof that the thing most times is racially motivated, because once you really want to take on the black world, all you need to do, the most potent, the most visible demonstration of that is you targeting Nigerians, because 1 in every 4 to 5 Africans is a Nigerian. Nigeria is the most populous black nation in the world. The only other place where you find uh, something akin to that in terms of a concentration of black people is the country of Brazil, where uh, the population is split down the middle between Caucasian and Africans. So you have a huge concentration of black people in Brazil, second only to Nigeria, but it still doesn't come close to Nigeria. And so when Nigeria is targeted this way, and do not also forget that Brazil is being targeted in a similar way. It's almost like a script copied from right-wing knuckleheads in the United States who would always want to say that, oh, um, United States for white population first. And the baseless fear or the fear mongering amongst certain demographics in the United States that are allowing for more immigrants to come in. It's like threatening at the place of white males in the country, which is really unfortunate, because I do not even think that there is anywhere anywhere across the globe where black folks, black people like us, sat down to say that, oh, we want to threaten the place of anybody or the relevance of anybody. So to be so paranoid, almost schizophrenic about the threat of overrunning the United States by Nigerians, it's really laughable and ridiculous, to the extent that that will now inform an entire policy on who is given visa and who is denied visa. Honestly, Nigerian officials should man up. They should grow some spine and they begin to investigate if deliberately Nigerians are being defrauded, because these people who are being turned down, these people who are allowed to come all the way to the points of entry in the United States, the different points of entry in the United States, and then have to be arrested, detained at times, and humiliated as graphically described by Mr. Olufemi Shoneye in the report quoted, are honestly, is it deliberate? And the United States is claiming to be building the largest embassy facility somewhere in the New Atlantic area in Lagos, biggest than anything ever seen before throughout Africa. So there is this facade, this decoy that, oh, everything is okay between Nigeria and the United States, but underneath, the United States is undercutting Nigeria. I think another reason that may be fueling this kind of situation is the failure of the Nigerian government in the last 2 years to post ambassadors to the different embassies all over the world. It's never been this bad. It's never been this ugly. So the fact that there is nobody, no big elephant in the room to relate with in terms of diplomatic protocol, negotiations, and pushback, and what's it called? New frontiers concerning diplomatic engagements between Nigeria and the United States and other countries of the world may also be a reason for this unfolding sad situation. All said and done, what would do in this circumstance is for us to be organized as a big block of influence, those of us who are Nigerian Americans, and then we must be able to discover our voice, put it to good use, and thank God that Femi Shoneye spoke up, as an accomplished Nigerian concerning what is going on, the way Nigerians are being treated. The humiliation is unacceptable. That is all we are saying. And whatever this is about has to be thoroughly investigated. You take money, among us, the amount of money for visa applications. You know how many Nigerians rush to the United States Embassy all the time? How much is involved in that in terms of foreign exchange? And then you buy the ticket, you come all the way to the United States only to be turned back. Or um, the searchlight, the spotlight is on you. Nigerians may be everything, but they are not the ultimate danger to the world. Nigerians exist for positive um, situations, and you and I are living testimonies to that. Yes, sometimes because of the fact that the Nigerian person is highly educated and so well positioned in the United States scheme of things, that also must be welcomed. At least I've heard Donald Trump himself acknowledge the place of Nigerians and their genuine accomplishments. That should drive whatever visa policies they have about us. But let us also acknowledge the fact that this is not in any way peculiar to Nigeria. Look at the number of South Koreans that were arrested, more than 400 of them in South Atlanta sometime last week. And it has taken the intervention of high-level diplomatic officials in South Korea to negotiate their release and say they will take them back home. Yet, it's nothing other than part of the after effect of the crazy policies being introduced by the Donald Trump administration. But on a good note, let us understand that institutions in the United States are really pushing back against Donald Trump. Some of the things he's doing, like I've always argued, is about distractions. It's about diversions. Because when you see people acting crazy like this, you want to check the script. There will be something corrupt, something fraudulent going on underneath. But the United States, this our country that the late Ronald Reagan, president in the past, described as a shiny city on the hill, is able to reinvent itself. The only thing I feel sorry about is that long after President Donald Trump must have served his term, while still alive, he would see the undoing of some of these things that he is really, thinking that is what the majority of Americans want. Americans do not like this. The optics is, the whole thing is so bad for the image of the United States of America, which is why you find overwhelming protests everywhere, demonstrations in a peaceful way against him. And the diversion is it is an attempt at covering up things that are shameful and embarrassing to persons in the administration. What are we going to talk about that we do not really know now? Things that were really signposted long ago by hardworking journalists in this country. From the takedown of credible media in the United States, describing them as fake news, I do not know why anybody will act crazy like that about one's own country. Your most accomplished journalists, you would describe them as fake news people, and you are so excited about that. You will take on people who operate with independence, whether the Federal Reserve Bank and what have you. You want to shake them down just because they are not. The figures coming out from them are not favorable to you in terms of the dynamics of the economy and the fundamentals. You want to remove them at will. Who does that other than dictators and despots? Yet, President Donald Trump is in denial about being authoritarian. But the signs are so clear for everybody to see. Even as we're talking, a few minutes back, say like 3 hours back, there were reports saying that House Democrats now, the oversight committee there, they made a discovery that, this thing is about the Jeffrey guy that died in prison, allegedly because of suicide or whatever. That is not clear to the public. But they are seriously linked. These are issues that President Donald Trump had thought would just go away, that are sitting pretty, that are not going away. Is it the scandal at the CDC, where Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert Kennedy Jr., who did not do well as a university student, even in law, who had no serious accomplishments other than the fact that he's a Kennedy in life. Well, somebody that was studying law, all of a sudden you brought him to come and superintend health services, something that is for core scientists and accomplished medical persons, and it's been there wrecking the whole house. And so, if Nigerians are being targeted now in terms of visa, it's the least, yet serious as it is for us as members of Nigerian American community. It's just that we need an holistic solution to the problem called Donald Trump. And how does that happen? It's through constitutional means. And that is what Nigerians must understudy. You know, the unfortunate thing is that the Nigerian is under siege everywhere, whether at home, where the government behaves recklessly against citizens at times, or overseas, where people are so uncomfortable about the fact that we are sophisticated and brilliant and successful. All said and done, our will triumph. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was very, very good. That's a good comprehensive reaction to that. Thank you so much. Everybody join the conversation in the chat. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications as we move on to some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back.